Welcome everyone to our new podcast.
No, it's not really new though.
Well, I mean,
It's
rebranded.
this. Well, it's barely rebranded. We use the old name
It w-
almost.
we are no longer two men in a movie. We are two men on a journey. And that might sound super philosophical, but it's not. We're just watching TV shows and movies.
Yeah. Well, unless like you want me to get deep in that sense, because like I could do that totally.
No, I'm good. You can do that on your own time. But
Fine, I'll start my own podcast. Fuck you.
so
All right, so this is my new
Will-
podcast.
Will
All
has
right.
a good point. There is no Earthbound episode on Monday.
That point
because-
was made before the episode started.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, either way, there was no Earthbound episode on Monday because
Today, which is Monday,
Yes.
also the day we're recording this.
Yes.
Also, there's no video on Earthbound today.
Yes.
Now-
I think we've mentioned that a few times now.
Yeah, well, did you know that there's no video today for Earthbound? Because I sure didn't.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I know. Explain. Yeah, okay,
Yes,
you
I would love to. I would love to explain it. If you would just shut the fuck up, I could fucking explain it. I went to edit the Earthbound video and very quickly purged from my computer the entire first episode.
Geniusly.
Yeah. Turns out.
And that's the first episode that he's editing, which was the third episode.
Yes. We will re-record it. We will put something up top being like, oh, this is why this is happening.
We'll probably just introduce it. I mean,
Yeah. It doesn't
if you
really
didn't
matter.
listen to the podcast, we could just refer
Which you
back
should.
To it. Well,
That's
they
true.
are. If they're here, then they're listening.
It would be great marketing. Regardless, yes, that is why there is not a Earthbound video.
Now, there will be an Earthbound video Wednesday
Yes, there will. There will
In
be an
lieu
Earthbound video Wednesday.
of what this slot's supposed to be. So
Yes. So after Wednesday, the Earthbound slots and the podcast slot will
return
switch.
to what they
Yes.
should be.
So it'll be game Monday, podcast Wednesday, game Friday.
Maybe more if
Yes.
we decide to. But honestly,
Um,
right now, this seems like enough work for me.
Yeah, I'm good. Between school and this, I'm chilling.
I mean, you're about
Anyway.
to go to class too.
Yeah, I am. Got like an hour and 3 minutes now.
So if this one runs short, blame poor planning, because that's what it was.
Yeah.
Very poor planning, and Andrew's technological incompetence.
Yes.
Oh,
Anyway, so this episode of Two Men on a Journey, we are going to start by talking about an anime that we've been watching called A Certain Magical Index.
Not Railgun yet. We didn't
No.
do Railgun first. Even
Um,
though canonically, that one happens first. I
Clearly, Will
decided
knows.
to go against it.
Will knows more about this than I do. I was not
Well-
100% on board, and Will was explaining this to me after we had already started 2 other shows that day.
Hey,
But it's good.
hey,
It's
we
really
did-
good.
We did not
Um,
start 2 shows. We started 1 show. And then
Yeah, and
dropped it.
continued another, and then dropped that one, and now we're watching this, which is fine. I like this show.
I
but-
also really like this show, and I've seen a lot of it, but it's been like 4 years, and I'm rewatching it.
We're gonna today talk about the memory loss arc and the accelerator arc.
If you have not seen these, you should leave.
Spoilers.
Well, if you're like on the
Just
fence,
pause and come back.
Well, here's the thing: like, if you're on the fence about watching it,
Oh, that's
then,
true.
like,
Actually, you know, we should talk about the show first, and then we'll go into spoilers.
Yeah.
So, the show, it's pretty good. Like, I was kind of surprised about how much I liked it, because like, you know, I enjoy a good anime, but like, like it they talk a lot about like the Catholic Church and shit, which I kind of find like not annoying, but that's usually something that I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I don't really care that much. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah. Well, right now, yeah, it's just kind of like the church, and you're like, ugh. The
Yeah.
Church.
Which again, you know, that's fine, but they toe the line pretty well. You know,
The
I'm
world
into
building
some.
is really subtle. And
Oh my god,
fantastic.
it's really really good. Because it's they do a lot of show don't tell, where they just show,
Yes.
which I think is the best way. Like, and I guarantee I'm gonna say this on like every other episode, but like of just the podcast in general. Like, I love a story where they just throw you into this world and like slowly explain everything along the way. I think that can be done really well. This, for instance, and something like I don't know, they're like old like Disney Channel cartoons that like do it. Like I think Gravity Falls did it, where they just throw you into this and like barely really explain anything to you.
Right.
It can also be done pretty terribly. I don't have an example off the top of my head, but it can be.
Starship Troopers.
No, well, I mean,
Is a good example.
yeah, Star Trek, Star Wars, all that kind of stuff is good. Yeah, I can't really think of an example off the top of my head of like what is like this is just bad world building. But again, like I love that. I think the problem with some movies and shows now is that they spend way too much time just explaining everything to you, just outright, rather than letting you learn it on your own.
Yeah.
Which again can be done really well, can be done really badly. And this show very much, I feel like this show toes the line between really good and kind of boring sometimes. Like sometimes it's
yeah.
really good. Like when you just have the shot of that the Zeppelin or like the blimp in the air, and it's just saying shit, and they could have just
Nothing
had the
else is
characters be
happening.
like, oh yeah, the Zeppelin that tells us everything is saying this. It does that every morning. Because it's kind of like why would they say that? It's the same thing I said about Dune. I know you haven't seen Dune, but like there's a lot of stuff in Dune that's not explained only because like the people in this world already know what it is.
Right.
So it would just feel unnatural for the characters to have to sit there and explain it to each other.
Also,
But then
can
like
we talk about how hard it would be to see shit on that Zeppelin? Like legitimately,
it would be
like,
impossible. I mean, it's kind of a stupid invention.
Well, yeah, and we talked about it at the time, but like the text on that thing is really small.
Oh yeah.
I mean, comparative to like, it's a fucking Zeppelin.
And it's
100
white
feet in the
against
sky.
like beige or like a cream color.
Yeah,
It's like how the
like
fuck are you supposed to see that? Light
Yeah.
is just gonna reflect off and give you fucking like make you go blind.
Yeah, or like, what if it like eclipses the sun and then moves out of the way and fucking blinds people? Like, logistically, that thing makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress.
But there are then some times in the show where I'm like, oh my god, I get it. Like, you don't need to explain this to me. Like,
Yeah,
and
like
you're
the,
doing it.
The fight between that lady and him.
Which
What
one?
the fuck's her name? The sword one.
Oh yeah. And even like
Most
during
of
a
that
lot
was
of
talking.
fights, there's like the one I remember when they were in like that mindscape area. Maybe no, not like the mindscape, like the realm between realms or whatever. Where that guy like stabbed himself in the neck was.
Oh, well, that wasn't like another universe. That was just like a parallel. It was like the same place, but just out of reach.
Regardless, they spend like the last bit of that fight is just them explaining like the same thing over and over again, and it's kind of like, why just fight? Like, why am I sitting here listening to you explain this thing that you just fucking explained?
Yeah. Also, like they take 10 years to tell him that she's already fixed. Like you're just sitting there. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you
he's-
could have just done that.
Like this guy is literally insane, and he's monologuing, and you guys are just sitting there like.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what? What are you even doing?
Right. Exactly. And that I think is one of the times where I was like, holy fuck, this show can be really boring.
And that is how the cookie crumbles with this show. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, it seems like it. But again, on like and granted, I haven't watched that much, but I'm more than 10 episodes in. So I'm beyond my threshold of deciding whether I like a show or not.
Yeah, and you've decided to keep with it, which is great.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a long series, and we can make at least 7 more episodes out of this.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no,
Maybe
it's
if Adam catches up, we can mention that fucking guy.
true. Maybe you can get on the show. Doubt it though.
It's a
but-
fucking typewriter monkey man.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good stuff. And I definitely enjoy it. But so okay, I'm gonna say spoilers from here on out.
Yeah. So
we'll get
if
into
you're
the 2
on
arcs.
the fence about it, just leave and watch it.
Just start it. Yeah.
I mean, if you're like if you have any semblance of like I want to watch, just leave, because like this is gonna make, if you know these things, it's gonna make that first arc just like not fun, because you'll be like, oh.
Oh yeah.
Let's get to the part that's actually worth my time.
And so this was kind of a weird point. So, and it seems like they do this a lot, where they do like a fake out and then like a fake out of the fake out. So okay, for anyone who hasn't watched it and doesn't give a shit, like I got to give the premise. So the main character, I don't even remember his name. I don't remember anyone's names. Toma. He meets this girl named Index, who is a nun, and she has a
Also
photographic
a librarian.
memory. Yes, she has a photographic memory, and in her head is like 10 million like verses or like chapters of the grimoire or whatever.
It is 100,000 individual grimoires.
Right. So you meet these people who basically tell our main guy. I still forgot his name, even though you just told me. Toma. These people tell Toma, hey, Index's brain, the human brain only has so much capacity, and because of her photographic memory, like 80% of it or whatever is taken up by the grimoire. So every year, is it every year? It's every year,
Yeah.
right? They have to erase
erase her
her
mind.
memory. And in the meantime, the entire time, I'm sitting there going, that's not how that works. Like that is not, like at one point I actually said to Will, I don't even know if you remember this, I was like, is she a
I do.
robot? Because I was like,
I don't
that's
remember that actually.
that's
but-
not how the human brain works. Like I was like,
Yeah.
like this, like the conceit, and this I think
Even
was
if they
my
were a robot,
my
you
my
could just give them
problem.
more storage.
Right. Like this I think is my problem with the first big arc, is that the whole time I'm just going, that's not how this works. And then like it's revealed
makes
that
no
like
sense.
that's not how that works. And it's played as like this big reveal, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it, obviously that's not how that works.
Well, like, if you didn't know that, then it would have been like this.
I guess,
reveal.
but like I don't
Because-
know that
okay.
much about photographic memory, but like I know how the human brain works. You know what I mean?
Adam didn't know that though. Adam doesn't know how the.
Which I
brain
think is
works.
hilarious, because like I think he's a really, really smart guy, and the fact that he fell for that is really funny to me. I don't think
Yeah,
that
I
makes him
know.
stupid. Obviously, I'm not saying that, but I just
No,
think
he's
that's
for-
funny.
He's so stupid.
He's not
dude.
stupid. I think he just like, you're supposed, like, okay, I usually go into shows with like an air of skepticism, right? Like I told you, me and Kerrigan are watching this show called Chuck, and it's awful, but it's like
Yes.
so good.
I know. I
And
know
every
Chuck.
episode's terrible. But it's like, but I keep watching it for some reason. Like I try to go into these things because, you know, like as a kid, and even up until like a few years ago, I was just like, yeah, every movie and show is like amazing, you know. So
Yeah.
my way to
Every
break
video
out
game
of
I
that
play is the
mentality is by just being a dick, like just being super nitpicky about fucking everything.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't
no,
mean that I
I'm a
don't like
cynical
it.
Asshole.
Like I like it, a certain magical index, but I'm nitpicky as fuck when it comes to shit like that. And like just
I do that too, all
Like-
the time, constantly.
just the fact that like you have to get engrossed for you to be engrossed in it, like super engrossed in this first arc, you have to believe the conceit that they have to erase her memory. I was kind of like, this is like stupid. But then they do an even better reveal that I kind of saw coming, but only because like how else would they do it? Where like the church that has been telling them that they need to erase Index's memory.
Was lying.
Yes, which
And
again,
you
like,
really just
yeah,
don't
that was
want her
pretty
to turn
obvious,
against the
but
church.
you know, I was still like, oh, okay. And then,
That's an acceptable reason, though. Like,
Oh, yeah,
legitimately,
yeah.
though, like, if I were to hold a girl captive and make her do this sort of thing, and I could do that, it's probably a good idea.
yeah,
Not
I
that
mean,
I will do any of these things.
yeah,
but,
no,
you know,
but
in fact, cut that out.
I mean, you're the one editing it, so, but
I'm just reminding myself.
then, so again, this is one of the first times where the show does a fake out into like another fake out, right? So they
You were so bad.
you're supposed to be like, oh, like it's so sad that they have to erase Index's memory, and Toma is super upset, and so are these other two quote unquote bad guys who turn out to be Index's friends. Which I thought was really cool. I like how they completely changed up the status quo like less than 10 episodes in.
Oh, yeah.
Like they just completely changed it. Like I'm like, that's awesome.
Like, they fight, and then it's like JoJo. They fight,
Exactly.
and then Polnareff's like, oh, I want to join you. So I can
Yeah.
beat up my fucking... You're that guy that killed my sister and
Yeah.
ultimately fuck over the entire team for multiple ways that I'm not going to get into at this moment.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do like episode 100. We review all of JoJo. But anyway.
I feel like we're reviewing JoJo in a different way than you might think.
Yeah. So. What? Oh. So then. So everyone's super sad that Index has to get her memory wiped again. And then
Everyone's like, boo-hoo.
Toma is like, oh shit, like we don't actually have to do that. And it's like this awesome bit where they're like, then like Index gets all fucked and like starts killing everyone or whatever.
John Penn activates, perceives everyone as a threat to the church, and then attacks.
So the whole thing is like, holy shit, like is Index gonna come out of this okay? Are any of our characters gonna die? And then they don't, and Index does this huge beam and destroys the satellite, which comes up in like less than 5 more episodes.
Okay, well, first of all...
And I know it comes
she
up in the other
destroys-
show.
Well, she destroys the... she destroys this giant tree supercomputer that was built to watch weather patterns and calculate ridiculously big things. And they threw it in space. And it is really important to the world.
Which is like insane to me.
this-
Like, why would you throw a supercomputer just into space?
So they don't have to cool it, probably.
I guess, but like,
Well, also, it's supposed to study weather patterns and could predict the weather with 100% accuracy.
you
because
can do that from the Earth, though.
Well, but like not 100%.
I know, but I don't know.
The idea is, I don't know. It's just.
I feel like the main
faster
flaw
data
was just putting it
times.
into space and not
mean,
making
yeah,
like another
probably.
one, like not being like, let's make another one and put it here on Earth just in case.
Yeah, like a backup.
Yeah.
Well, they spent all the money sending that one to space.
That's
But
true.
it is. So there are detrimental consequences, however, they haven't really gotten into that sort of
Right.
shit yet.
So.
I don't even remember what they are. I just
And
remember
then-
it being like, if we had the tree computer, we could have done this by now.
So after she destroys the satellite, the computer, whatever. It's a satellite.
Satellite computer.
Feathers start to like fall down, and they're like,
It's
don't touch one of those.
She used a spell called Dragon's Breath.
Right.
I think that's what it was.
So they're like, don't touch those. They'll like kill you or whatever. They don't say it like at first. They're like, they'll just fuck you completely. And and everything's fine. Index is great. Well, not great, but
Alive.
yeah. And the whole thing is like, oh yeah, everything's like great. Everything's gonna go back to normal. And then as Toma is holding Index, he gets. Oh, we didn't even say this. His right hand nullifies all magical things. That's like his whole thing.
It's called Imagine Breaker.
Yeah, which is a really cool name.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's like
Also,
it's just an awesome name.
I remember being like, isn't it a fucking like Imagine Breaker? And I'm like,
Sounds like a Destiny weapon that no one would ever use. You know what I mean?
It sounds like a sword from an RPG.
It totally does. But was it? Oh yeah. So one of the feathers touches his head, and then in the next episode, it starts off with Index, and she's like, "What's going on with the guy?" And the doctor's like, "Oh, he's waking up, but like he's different." And then she goes in, and he doesn't remember who she is, and then it flashbacks to the doctor being like, he has no memory up until like today, and he doesn't really know who anyone is, but he knows who he is. And then
he doesn't even know who he was.
Yeah, and then Toma is like, and then it cuts back to Toma and Index, and then Toma's like, haha, no, I know you, you silly goose. And Index is like, you fucking suck. And then I'm like, oh, what? But why did the doctor say that he didn't remember anyone? Like, is the doctor in on this? And then the doctor comes in after Index is like crying, and Toma is like, yeah, I remember everything. And then the doctor comes in, and he's like, you don't remember anything, do you? And Toma's like, nope.
Who is that girl? I have no idea.
What the fuck? Like,
you were pissed off.
Because it's just like, and I said this when we were watching it, like I just got like whiplash. Like,
I just realized that we have to talk about the Deep Blood arc that happens between the Accelerator.
Do we though? I mean, we kind of just covered it.
That's, you know what? It's a fair ass point.
Like, that's pretty much it.
Earlier,
like that's pretty much it.
They go
I mean,
to
we'll
alternate dimension thing.
Yeah.
And
regardless,
they find the vampire slayer woman. They kick her in. They save Index. They kill the alchemist.
Index isn't even like after he loses his memory, she's like barely a part of it anymore.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because in future episodes that involve magic, she's always there.
Like, yeah, like I get that, like they're trying to establish more characters, but I'm kind of like.
Well, the thing is there's a great detach. So the idea essentially is that he has people on one side and people on the other side right now. And
right.
He kind of flips between them as he's needed to do Imagine Breaker stuff and
no,
unluckiness to strike.
It makes sense. Like.
Also, I feel like it symbolizes the great disconnect between the two.
Right. Oh yeah.
See, I got philosopher.
Yes. Philosophical.
Yeah, that's me.
So. Yeah, I can tell. So then he just doesn't have his memory. Which again, I think that's cool. Like that's kind of a cool idea, but don't fucking like bait me like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't be a fucking dick titty.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can talk about, like, there's this girl who's like she's like, I can kill vampires. So they talk about vampires, right? It never comes up again. They're like, we're going to introduce vampires. And then, like, it just hasn't come up after this. They go into a weird dimension place.
The alchemist power was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, until you figure out that, like, it actually kind of, like, it has a pretty big caveat.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the whole idea is that he perceives and he makes it reality.
right.
Somewhat, but,
I get the idea, but that's a pretty big, not caveat, but like,
I mean, I'm just explaining it.
yeah.
He stabs himself to keep focus, but when he goes out of control, it gets all fucky wucky.
Oh yeah. Oh, excuse me.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, honestly, that's all for the Deep Blood arc. But so next is the Accelerator arc, right? So we find out that this woman, I don't know her name.
Okay, we find out Mikoto Misaka has a bunch
okay.
of sisters, and it's really weird because they've just kind of all of a sudden sort poking out of nowhere.
And they're pretty obviously clones.
Also, they're weird. They talk in third
Yeah.
person. They kind of shift around a lot.
Like, I remember halfway through being like, they're totally clones. And then, like, the next episode,
Yeah.
they're like, she got clones. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and they reveal pretty quickly that they're clones, and then from there, he finds out about this accelerator guy who is literally killing people for the.
He's just
sole
insane.
purpose.
Like,
No, he's not insane. He
Uh.
has. Look, we were talking about this at the time. It is state-sponsored serial killer.
yes, but that still makes him a serial killer. Like,
I mean, I'm not denying that, but like to say he was crazy before that is probably not as accurate as you may think.
yeah. I mean, I guess so.
But I mean, by that point, he was pretty insane, though.
Yeah.
And it was for the sole purpose of making him level 6 out of 5, making him like the most powerful psychic user ever.
Yeah, which, again, like, it's just state-sponsored psychopathy.
Also, like, his power is really fucking cool.
It is, but it's very, like, Part 6 JoJo villain. Like, super specific power. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that's what makes it cool.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I think that's what makes it cooler than some of the later JoJo villain abilities, which are super vague, but also really specific.
King Crimson.
No, not even King Crimson, but, like,
Well, King
there's
Crimson
others
does
that are,
come
like-
on for me.
Like, there's one in Part 6 that has to do with, like
How does King Crimson work?
urine or
How does
whatever.
King-
I don't even know.
You know what? Don't even get into it. I haven't even gotten over there yet.
Regardless, like, and it's a really cool arc, but it's again, like, it's
An
kind
arc
of
that is expanded upon in a season that we haven't watched yet.
no,
so
not at all.
For right now, and you're kind of blindsided by it. It doesn't really make much sense canonically to just like be in that arc.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like jarring in a way.
Oh yeah.
But after, I think we're about more than halfway through this season. So we'll obviously finish up Index, and then we'll switch over to Railgun. And we'll do
And it's
a bunch
cool. But like, so in the first episode they established that girl is like a railgun, right?
yeah.
But then like,
She doesn't use Railgun anymore.
I legitimately totally forgot about it until like she goes to kill Accelerator and she's got the coin in her hand, and I thought to myself, why is she holding a coin? And then I went, oh yeah, that's right. She can like launch shit at like the speed of sound or whatever. Like just kill him. Like I was literally like, just kill him. Like okay,
but
yeah,
he
he's
would just reflect it back, like immediately.
would he
like, that
though?
would
Like
kill
is
him.
he that
Yes.
fast?
Yes.
Is he? If you got a
Yeah,
coin
well,
going into
okay.
your skull, can you
This
really be
guy-
that fast?
This guy uses his reflector, and it prevents gamma radiation from touching him.
Oh, that's true. But
So,
I wouldn't call that
if he can-
fast. I wouldn't say he's
Well,
fast.
Yeah, but he always has the reflector up. Is my point. So
Yeah.
even if he wasn't, it would hit that and immediately just divide whatever it was by 0, or by 1. I mean, -1, and that would immediately reverse its positioning.
Right, and yeah, I guess that makes sense. But couldn't you just like launch Toma at him and touch him, and then like?
Well, he's gotta like it's gotta be within his like field
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. I just like
or something like that.
I totally forgot about it up until she had the coin, and even then I
Well,
was like,
the thing
wait a minute.
is like she seldom shows up, and when she does show up, she's usually just kind of like chilling. So that was the first. So that was one, the first time we've seen her in action, and two, like in her series, she actually uses it like
Right,
all
right.
the time.
I think that's a really cool use
In fact,
of her
she
ability.
uses it. She uses it on shit that like isn't coins. Like there's one time I think where she like uses it on like a giant piece of metal.
Yeah, I mean that's
I was
cool.
like-
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah, she's pretty great. Best character. Best girl. Nah.
But yeah, I mean it's
Yes, but
it's
yeah.
a really good arc. And Accelerator's crazy. Like he's
Terrifying.
just crazy. I know you keep saying
Yeah.
that he's not, but he is.
Well, he's terrifying. Later he because right now he's kind of unhinged.
Right.
But and later he's kind of more. Well, as normal as that guy can be, really.
Right. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, he's cool either way. I mean, he's cool then too. I actually prefer him later, especially when we get into like his own series and shit. Like he just kind of like does stuff.
Right.
Like he isn't just kind of like chilling at home all day. Like he's doing stuff and taking names. Like
Mm-hmm.
my God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool stuff, man. I mean, it's just. And again, like I usually watch the show like while I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And with me.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, do you want to watch some tonight if we don't do Braid?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see why not.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I don't really have anything else to say about it.
Nah, me neither. What have you been doing recently?
Nothing. I've been playing
Real
Destiny
fucking podcast
and
answer.
I'm playing a lot of Pokemon Pearl.
Oh, that's you know what? That's something to talk about. I love the. What do you think of the? You never played the original, but what do you think of the game?
It's good. It's fun. I mean, it's like,
It's what you wanted Sword to be.
yeah. I mean, and I guess this is how Pokemon games are, but like, I kind of get tired of the constant battles, like after a little bit. But then again, like, what
Me too,
else
but-
do you do in a Pokemon game?
Well, here's what I end up doing. There's a lot. First of all, there's a lot to do. Like, I mean, it may not be all available to you at this moment, but there's some stuff you can do. There's like gambling, I think.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm only on like the my fourth gym, maybe my
Yeah.
third.
There's,
I did get a fire type Pokemon though.
Oh yeah, what did you go for?
I got the horse looking motherfucker.
Yeah. Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
That's the only one.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you, like like if you pick Chimchar, it's like the only fire type you can find.
Mhm.
And I picked Chimchar out of sheer laziness.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really feel like fucking doing that.
I got the Turtwig.
I know, I saw that. Did
He's
he
great.
evolve fully yet?
No, not yet. He's only on a second evolution. But I did get my I have the little otter looking one, the orange one.
Yeah, Floatzel.
Yeah. He evolved. So did. Oh fuck! Someone evolved.
Your Zubat, dude.
Yes. Zubat evolved
Yeah,
evolved into Golbat. So now he's got an even
so-
bigger mouth.
Oh yeah. No, big ass fucking mouth.
Oh yeah.
But now, it's gonna evolve through happiness. So be sure to like, make sure it doesn't faint, because faint is gonna make it lose happiness.
Right. I think right now I'm on the fighting type gym.
I don't think that's very good for flying types. I don't know.
So here's my problem. So
Yeah.
they have 2 Machops. Or no, wait a minute. That's the evolution, right? Machop is the evolution.
No. Job is not.
Which one's the evolution?
Machoke.
Machoke, yes. You got 2 Machokes and a Lucario. And
Dang. Yeah, that's a big one.
I don't know what to use against Lucario, though.
I mean, okay,
'Cause
so the idea, you may want to pick up a fight. I'm pretty sure fighting is.
Well, I have a Machop, but I guess I just need to level him up more.
Yeah, it would probably be
Because
the move.
he's super, like, low level.
That would be the move. I think.
Okay.
Because fighting is weak to fighting, so
Yeah.
it would be an advantageous move to do that.
Right. Yeah. Then I'll definitely do that.
I need to pick back up that game.
It's good,
I
man.
have Diamond, but
It's good
my
stuff.
problem is that I'm on the Elite Four, but my Pokemon are just like barely not powerful enough to do it,
Right.
and that was because I walked in a Victory Road with 2 under level and a level 1 Pokemon. So
Why?
it's like, I don't know, for fun. I thought it'd be fun. It was fun. It was hard, but it was fun. It was a lot of me going like in the dungeon, getting into like one fight, and then leaving the dungeon.
Right.
But
Yeah, that makes sense.
I got through it. It's not even that fucking long, dude.
Just the game itself or the dungeon?
The dungeon.
Gotcha.
The game's decent length.
Yeah.
mean, like I was able to finish it in like 2 or 3. Give or take about 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah. I've kind of been having trouble with like really long games recently. Like I love God of War on the
Yeah.
PlayStation, but it's just like so I have a cousin who absolutely loves that game, right? And I saw him
Yeah.
not too long ago, and I told him that I started playing it. He was like, "Oh, like where'd you get up to?" And I was like, "Oh, I think I got up to like when I got that guy's head." He was like, "Oh, you're like barely even halfway through," and I was like, "Yeah, that's the problem."
Yeah. I gotta finish Half-Life Alyx, and then
I have to finish Half-Life. I have that game.
I have. Me too. I just haven't played them because I'm like, bro, I don't want to.
Well, I don't have a Windows computer anymore, so and I'm not paying
See,
for Parallels. I refuse.
You just make a new fucking account, dude. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I'm running out of emails.
Dude, just make more emails. It's not that. I mean, this isn't rocket science. It's fucking.
Yeah,
internet
but
fraud.
I'm lazy to play like Half-Life for like 2 hours and then go. Actually, this is hard, and I don't want to play it anymore.
It's not that hard. It's just that it's long.
It's not even that hard. It's just long.
Yeah, and it's not engaging like Portal is at least. Like where
Bro,
Portal
Portal's
is-
so fun.
Yeah, honestly.
Portal's so much fun.
Portal got shafted with their fucking company that they got put with. They didn't get Black Mesa. Black Mesa's like way cooler.
That's true. Wait, no, what? Aperture's so much cooler than Black Mesa.
Yeah, but they're like.
I just thought about what you said, and it's just incorrect.
I mean, in universe though, like in universe, Aperture's. Like
Oh, yeah,
crazy and
yeah.
stupid, but Black Mesa.
Well, that's because fucking J.K. Simmons, Cave Johnson, fucking J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man, is like an insane dude, and they've
I
got
mean-
a crazy AI running it.
That's fair.
Um,
Well, yeah, but that brought its downfall. That didn't. She was alive when they were fucked up by Black Mesa.
yeah, that's true.
Spoiler.
Portal lore is so interesting.
Truly.
It
It was even.
anyway,
You know what's
just
sadly interesting? The fucking FNAF lore.
yeah. Well, that's because like he just made it up as he went along, which is fine. I think that can be done really well, but I mean, at least he's not like J.K. Rowling, who very clearly made it up as she went along, but then
denies it vehemently.
Yeah, exactly. Like Scott Cawthon hasn't said anything about it, but
whatever.
it's so obvious that he's just been making it up as he went along.
Yeah,
Which again
I mean,
is fine.
and
but-
nowadays he's like kind of problematic or whatever.
He's not even really that problematic, but he retired. He doesn't even make them anymore.
I did know that. Yeah, that
Um,
kind of. Well,
I don't know. I think Security Breach isn't that bad, but I'm probably never gonna play it again. You know what I mean?
I think Security Breach was an interesting.
I think for what it
Concept.
was and made by a company that's only made like 3 other games, it's pretty alright.
Here was my thing was that I was not sold on the idea. First of all, I'm not a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan, so let's start there. Second of all, I knew exactly how that game was gonna come out. Like I had an idea. I was like,
Oh, yeah. No, me too.
If they do it, it's gonna. It was exactly that, and it was kind of just exactly as boring as I thought it would be. For me, so.
And
I
part of
didn't
the
play it,
part of
so,
the
you know.
issue is like, I mean, there are
I didn't
multiple
watch it.
issues. My big issue is like there's no autosave, like at all,
Yeah.
and that's just absolutely infuriating. But
that,
and the other
that
thing
doesn't
is,
bother me as much
like,
as you.
having multiple endings is fine when your game is a point and click horror game. But having multiple endings and none of them are really all that satisfying in a game that's $40 and sometimes just doesn't work at all is a little not good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Like, I get why they had the multiple endings, and I think they're gonna fix the story stuff and the gameplay stuff in like a DLC, but that doesn't
Should've been
mean
there.
like
Should've
again
been
like
there.
I think for what it is it came out pretty alright, you know, and I think overall it was very ambitious, and in some ways it delivered, but in other ways it didn't. Like it tries to be like it tries to do like the open world thing that everyone's doing nowadays, but
Oh yeah, and that's kind of like meh to begin with. Like you either.
oh yeah,
Like the trend is stupid. It either works or it doesn't work, and I don't understand why we have to keep trying it.
right,
Like, we know
exactly.
it works, but also like, fucking Dark Souls. Okay. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Just make it linear, or at least like
Legend of
like-
Zelda. Yes.
I think
100%.
Breath of the Wild is amazing,
Um.
but
What's
like-
another free roam game that doesn't make much sense?
I mean Mario Odyssey's all right, I guess.
Mario Odyssey. You know what? Actually, fuck it. Mario Odyssey tried to be Mario 64 while trying to be Breath of the Wild, and it's a good game. But the concept kind of falls flat after
And it's
like
so short,
3-4 worlds.
like
How
that.
did you finish it?
Really, I finished that game like 20 times. I think it has a great replay value up until like the fourth time I replayed it, and then I realized I had played like the whole thing in like 3 hours, and I was like, oh, okay.
Herein lies my problem.
That's
is
interesting though that you didn't even finish it.
Well, the main thing was that you can't do everything until you've beaten the game. Like it's not like you.
Yeah,
need-
but there's more after that.
Well,
So like
yeah, I understand that, but like.
yeah.
I wanted to be able to get at least all the moons that were like existed, and it doesn't make much sense to me that they didn't just either one lock it behind something that you get later, or two fucking.
Well, they kind of do. So like
Well, they do, but it doesn't. I don't like that. I hate that. It makes me
Oh.
upset. I hate that it's like, oh, well, you can't get these because you gotta beat the game. Like I
Yeah.
earned the
But it's
right
so
to at
easy
least
though.
try.
Like it's so easy.
I
I
know
mean, you
it's
can
easy,
get
but I
you
wanted
can
to
get
do it.
like a lot of the base moons in the areas. Like
You
I
can,
always
it's
get like 5 or 6 more. Than,
tantalizingly close to being the end, but the other ones are blocked by something I can't really
yeah,
change.
but
And
then
it's
once
not
you get
like-
to the end, you then can unlock the dark side of the moon and then the darker side.
Yeah, but I want to do it now.
I mean, I guess, but it's so easy to beat. It's such an easy game to beat.
I probably could just beat it. The other thing is that I never really was like really fond of the control scheme either, so
I guess that
like,
makes sense.
it makes it harder for me to want to play the game
Yeah.
because I hate like motion controls and
Wait, what? You don't have to use the motion controls. What are you talking about?
I don't like the motion controls.
You don't have to use the motion controls.
Yeah, but it just felt bad either way, really.
Did it? I think it feels really good. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think you feel really good.
Oh, wow.
You're always
Seems
You're
we're at
always-
an impasse.
you're always lotioned up and soft and supple in many areas, like your legs and your supple arms. And your
I think you can cut this part out.
thighs. But I'm just getting into my bit.
Shut up.
I'm gonna cut out that earlier part though. I was just fucking with you. I'm not cutting out that though. Fuck that. Just cutting out things you want me to do. Who do you think I am? We're recording this fucking 2 hours before it's supposed to come out, okay? Who do you think I am? Robert E. Lee? Wait, that doesn't really work
Nope, not really. I don't think.
there. Who do you think I am? Fucking the Mike Tyson of editing podcasts?
That I don't think also works.
I mean, punch out the
I don't know.
episodes.
All right, are we? I think that's it for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 minutes. You know, I kind of like having the little powwow at the end.
Yeah, me too. I like that too. I think that's a good good way
Powwow.
to do it. Yeah. But all right, then we will see everyone next time.
If we wait 2 more minutes, we can hit the 50-minute mark on my recording.
I mean, I guess we could.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, fuck it. We're already here.
2 minutes of silence.
No, not 2 minutes of fucking silence. So, you
I think
know.
just do 2 minutes of silence.
Why don't we talk about the eternal astral plane between two universes?
No, I'm good. That doesn't sound very interesting.
Well, I find it pretty interesting myself. All right,
Well,
fine.
then you
fuck
can
it.
do your own
Well,
podcast.
so just to recap, in case you missed it, new episode of Earthbound Wednesday. Probably gonna be recorded after this, maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Who
Yes.
knows?
We have no way of knowing.
You will, and I won't. Oh God. Also, if I sound better, it's because we figured out why I sound like trash in the last episodes.
We did figure that out.
And I forgot to mention, we were gonna have 2 more episodes of Trash Mike, but
Well, we've got one more of Trash Mike.
we could just re-record that episode. Honestly,
I don't
Just
really want to, because
listen,
I
know
already
you
have
don't-
that footage.
I know you don't want to, but if we're gonna fucking record the other one, we might as well have
I
continuity
guess.
editing.
I don't
and
know.
other shit we
It doesn't
talk
really
about.
matter. We'll
It does
figure it
matter to
out. We'll
me.
figure it out.
Okay, bye everyone. Enjoy your Monday
Yes.
at work. We all know you love work, right?
Everybody loves work.
I love working. I'm working right now. This is me working at my job. All right, bye.
Bye, everyone.